Let me ask you a question. Think about the last time you tried to change something meaningful, significant inside your organization. It wasn't just a tweak, it was something substantial. Maybe a culture shift, a new way of operating, a genuine attempt to move the needle on how your teams perform. Now, I want you to recall what happened 6 months after that moment of initial change. If you're being honest, there's a good chance the old patterns came back, the old habits returned. Not because you gave up, not because your people aren't capable, but because something deeper, something that was never addressed. It just kept running underneath the surface of everything you were trying to build. Today, I want to introduce to you a book that names this very thing, and once you see it, you can't unsee it. I'm Seth Winterhalter. This is the HaltingWinter podcast, where we explore leadership ideas that matter most for the men and the women running local government. This week, inside the MLDC, that's the Municipal Leadership Development Circle, we're looking at the book, The 3 Laws of Performance by Steve Zaffron and Dave Logan. If you want to go deeper on this book with daily content, blogs, podcasts, and not only content, but a community of local government leaders from around North America, you can head over to HaltingWinter.com/MLDC to learn more. HaltingWinter.com/MLDC. The link is in the show notes. Here's the core premise of this book, and I want you to feel the weight of it before I explain it. Every organization already has a future. It's not the future of your strategic plan. It's not the one in the budget presentations. It's the future your people actually believe. Deep down, maybe not even frontal lobe, but in the depth of their subconscious, it's based on everything they've lived through and experienced, and that future is already coming. Zaffron and Logan call it the default future, and they make a case that is genuinely hard to argue with. Almost every performance problem you are carrying right now is downstream of that default future. The resistant department, the initiative that keeps stalling, the staff who nod in the meeting and then go right back to their old ways of doing things. This is not a people problem. It's a perception problem, and that perception is being shaped by something specific. This is where the 3 laws come in. Now, I'm not going to give it all away. That's why you should join the MLDC and hang out with us this week and dive deep into these 3 laws. But I want you to understand enough to see why this book matters. The first law says this: how people perform correlates to how situations occur to them. Not how situations are, but how they occur. See, there's a massive difference there. The facts of a budget cut, a reorganization, a new initiative don't determine how your team responds. Their interpretation of those facts, filtered through every past experience they've had in your organization, in the various organizations they work for, all of that determines how they respond. Now, that's either really humbling or really freeing, depending on how you hold it. Now, I'm not going to get into the second or the third law. There's plenty of books about vision, communication, and culture, and most of them are written for leaders who have the tools that you don't have. Stock options, at-will employment, the ability to shift and redesign their organization from scratch on a moment's notice, flexibility and compensation, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. What Zaffron and Logan offer, the authors of this book, is something different, and I think it's actually more powerful for your specific context in local government. The path to elevated performance runs through language and perception rather than incentives and structure. And this is something you can leverage that you're probably not seeing. You might not outpay the private sector, but you can change what the organization believes is coming. And in local government, where meaning and mission are often the only tools you have for building deep commitments, it might be the most important leadership skill there is. This is what we're working on this week inside the MLDC, a community of local government leaders, city managers, county administrators, department heads, people who understand that your playbook is far different than the world of business. So if you want to be a part of a community, if you want to have content that is sharpening the blade of your leadership, I encourage you head over to HaltingWinter.com/MLDC, HaltingWinter.com/MLDC. This week, the 3 laws of performance. It is a book I think that will be worth your time. I'm Seth Winterhalter. Until next time, keep leading with impact.